Hi, welcome to Tech Ranch, a place where we learn and earn technical skills in the most efficient way. Let's make coding fun. Practice project ideas, virtual keyboard. Today we are going to present you a live demonstration of virtual keyboard for desktop application implemented using Java Swing Graphical User Interface API. Before we get into the demonstration, let's first see and learn about virtual keyboard. Virtual keyboard is a software component that allows the input of characters without the need for physical keys. The interaction with the virtual keyboard happens mostly either via touch screen or some other kind of graphical user interface you can provide, like buttons. So these buttons are basically, you can make it with the help of any kind of API. For example, Swing Graphical User Interface API in Java, but can also take place in the other form of virtual or augmented reality. So in this type of application, you can make it for offline or desktop or Windows based application for user input using virtual keyboard. When it comes to the user input, we need to make sure we are including all kind of 26 alphabets, 10 number keys like from 0 to 9, along with all special characters keys like hashtag, question mark, multiplication, addition, subtraction for all kind of mathematics mathematical operators like and logical operators, or for pipe and not, for exclamatory, and for any kind of special keys we need in our regular keyboard will be included in your virtual keyboard too. Along with that, we need some other functional keys like space bar and backspace keys for respective uses. And in this type of simple virtual keyboard, which is implemented in Swing Graphical User Interface, is also going to have a big size of J text field to enter and display input entered by user, and which also having a buffer size included so that the input can be included as big as user want. Now when it comes to the look and feel, it's just like the regular keyboard, but it also includes the buttons. These are nothing but the buttons, simple buttons. This is how we are going to implement it. Now let's take a look at the implementation. The implementation of virtual keyboard is divided into two parts. First, we'll see the user interface, and the another part we'll see the action listener, the implementation, basically the main logic implemented, where the communication happening between the interfaces or in the components. So for interface, we have used JFrame for a window, JButtons for all the keys, JPanel, which is included in entire frame, the application, and the JText field where we are using all the user input by the keys, clicking the keys. Now when it comes to the action listener, it's basically overriding the action performed and having a key method, which key method included all kind of implementation we have done. Basically this type of applications can be implemented many ways. Here I'm using very simple concept and very simple logic. I'm trying to creating here an array of buttons and creating a button list, and that button list will basically have a string which include all kind of alphabets, numbers and special characters and everything. In action and in the key method, I'm going to have a special function keys defined with some conditions where if the user click on the space bar key, will be providing a space, or the backspace will be going back to the previous space of the string. And the JText will basically considering a big space of string. So this is how it's very simple implementation. We'll show you in the demonstration. Now let's take a look at the demonstration. So this is how it is going to be your virtual keyboard. You can see a big space of your JText field. You can change it to any number, the size. I'll show you in the demonstration how you can change where it is actually defined. Now these are the keys which is basically based on the size of the frame. So if it is resized, The keys also can be compact and can be expanded. Just like here, you can see the keys are compacted to this size because the size of the text field is reduced and it is resizable. So you can shrink the entire keyboard too and expand as per your requirement. So it is resizable. So here you can see you can include all the 26 alphabets, 0 to 9 numbers with some special characters and functioning keys like spacebar and backspace key. Now let's take a look at the demonstration. So this is my Eclipse IDE and here is my virtual keyboard demo source code. As you can see here, I am using Swing Graphical User Interface API. So I'm just using Swing import statement, and this is very simple. Here I'm just creating a frame and the button list and the text field and creating a panel and just defining a static final string where I'm including all kind of characters I wanted to have the keys for, and spacebar keys here. As you can see, backspace key is mentioned in a button form as a separate button because it needs to have some action listener. These things can be defined and overridden and implemented in action perform method. You can see here, get source. If the user entered the backspace key, which is nothing but this one, then it will buffer and go back to the previous position. So length will be -1 and spacebar will be incremented by +1 and having a space of it here. Buffer will be spaced here. Now let's take a look at the demonstration. It will be more clear if you see the execution. So this is my virtual keyboard. So this is my virtual keyboard. As you can see, we can shrink and resize the keyboard here. The buttons will be flexible and can be moved like this. Now if I see A, B, C, by default it is in lowercase. You can add the shift key and have some logic behind it. You can just make it in a more advanced virtual keyboard. By default it is your lowercase. Now if I make, so what all things you can change in the code and make changes in your keyboard is, suppose I wanted to make it uppercase. So for shift key you can create cases and shift the keys functioning. Otherwise what you can do, you can change the uppercase here and then it will make it all the letters uppercase. So if you see now, if I click on the keys, it is all your uppercase. It's very simple piece of code, so there's less confusing. You can see the set size. This is the size for the window, the frame. I need to make change in the text field size. So it is 100. If I want to shrink it, I can make it 40 or 70. Now if you see the execution, the text field is very shrinked and the buttons or the keys are just adjusted with your size of the frame. So this is how you can shrink your text field. Now if in case I just entering the letters which are, so it is in a buffer, so it is keep going. So there will be no problem in the limitation of the size or entering the letters of it. Now all these letters are in the uppercase. Using shift keys you can put the conditions and make the choices and switching the lowercase to uppercase functionality from the real keyboard, physical keyboard, non-virtual keyboard. And after that you can even continue with your and even after that you can re-edit and start from your virtual keyboard input. You can expand, so you see the space will be actually defined by the frame. So this is for the full size, so resizable, and you can use the backspace, you can use the space bar, you can use your all characters. All you can include here in this is a shift key. So this is what the virtual keyboard, this is what the demonstration of virtual keyboard implemented using Swing Graphical User Interface API in Java. The uses of this type of applications is very easy, independent, and integrated in the devices like Android devices, iOS devices, and etc. So since it is an independent application, all you need to just take this component and include it in your application and make it another feature of your another application. So easy integration will be there. Integrated in online web application, you can make it in an online by deploying in web server and make it another feature of your web application. And it has many uses. You can put it in many places, since these days we are more dependent on mobile devices. So this type of feature is very useful in such cases. Or else you can also include it in your and embed it in your devices, actual mobile devices for virtual keyboard. The homework is you can add a shift. So in case of any questions or concerns or any kind of source code needed, please feel free to contact and email techranch2019@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more upcoming interesting and informative sessions. And do like and comments in the comment section. Precious feedback. Let's make coding fun. Thank you.